Hello, I have been sent by Aputure this tiny little LED light for on-camera use and, well, handheld use, all sorts of uses really. It's called the AL-M9, which is not the snappiest of titles, and as you can see from the box, it is a very small little light. Now, one thing just to get out of the way before we start, yes, they sent it to me for review, but they've not told me to say anything. There's no obligation on me to be nice about it. I can do a free, honest, genuine opinion. As it happens, I am going to say nice things about it because having looked at it and played with it for a few days, I really rather like it. So that's good. Anyway, that's the box. The light itself is this. Look how tiny that is. It's really lightweight, it's really thin, and it's kind of basic, but at the same time ideally suited for its purpose. So the idea is that you would perhaps have this, it comes with a little cold shoe attachment, so you could put it on top of a camcorder or one of the vlogging type DSLR cameras, and you can just hold it up there and this would be enough to illuminate your face for a bit of vlogging. Or you could have it in a hand and just, you know, sometimes you're filming things that are really awkward to get at and you've got the camera kind of here and you just want to move the light around. This is ideal. I've used it in a couple of instances like that myself, just to get that right angle on a bit of light. It is battery powered. I would have thought that was fairly obvious, but it's not replaceable battery powered. It's an internal lithium battery which you recharge. There is, you can possibly just see on the side here, a little micro USB socket which you plug in and recharge. It does come with, I should mention, this rather natty little pouch with a little carabiner on it so you can clip it to your pocket. But also within that, little micro USB cable with a standard USB on the end, and you can plug it pretty much into any USB charger to recharge it. I think it's something like an 1800 milliamp hour battery. So you recharge there. Two other little buttons on the side, a plus and a minus, which turn the brightness up and down from, I think it's about 10% up to 100%, because there are 9 steps and they seem to be fairly evenly spaced. So I'm guessing it's 10% steps as you move it up and down. And if you press and hold the button, it just smoothly ramps the light up and smoothly ramps the light down. But if you press them individually, then you get that 10% jump. And then the final switch there is just the on-off switch. You can see on the front of the light, it's got this diffusion panel on it. That is magnetic. It just clips off like that. So there are the LEDs, 9 tiny little LEDs, and then this diffuser which just snaps on with magnets. You can see the holes in the diffuser. I'm assuming this is for cooling, because although LEDs don't get that hot, they do still need a bit of airflow. And there are also these little vents on the top and on the bottom. So again, I'm assuming this is all to do with letting some air over it. And there's not a lot really else to show you on the light, other than on the back here is a tiny little groove, and there is a similar little groove on the front. And the point of that is that this cold shoe adapter, which it comes with, obviously that's the cold shoe bit there, and it's going to be quite hard to show you the detail of this, but this is a little sprung clamp. And all you do is you put the light in like that and then screw this up. I don't know if you can see that, but in screwing that up, it's not simply clamping it, but those grooves in the filter and the light, there's a little indent on the plastic that kind of goes into them. So it's actually grasping the light. So it is really securely held. I hope that made some sort of sense. But that is not going to fall out. It's not simply holding by friction. It's grasped little fingers, if you like, on either side into the light, and that's not going anywhere. So there's your cold shoe mount. You can also disassemble this by unscrewing that screw. Let's get this right. Hold on. And there you can see is a, I can never remember if these are 1/4 or 3/8, but it's the little screw thread that you can attach to things that need to be screwed on rather than having a cold shoe. So what is the light actually like in use? Well, it's pretty bright actually. I'll just get the box back again because I can't remember the exact figures, and it does say on here somewhere. Hold on, I'll find it. No, it doesn't say on the box. In that case, I'll have a look on the instructions. Hold on, bear with me. Comes with a little product manual. Not much of a manual, but you know, it's enough pages to tell you what you're doing. And it's all fairly self-explanatory anyway. Oh, here we go. Here's the readings. At 0.3 of a meter, so I mean that's really close, isn't it? 900 lux, half a meter, 350 lux, and at 1 meter, which is probably, that's probably half a meter, isn't it? But at 1 meter, it's 80 lux. Anyway, it is definitely sufficiently bright for its purpose, which is, as I say, on a vlogger cam, you can use it as a sort of key light on yourself effectively, but also it's very useful as a fill light or just a general bit of extra illumination. I guess you could use it as a backlight as well. So all sorts of uses. And running time, they claim in the specs, 1.75 hours. I have tested it twice now, charging it up to full, putting it on full brightness and letting it run down, and both times I got 1 hour and 48 minutes. So their claim of running time is pretty much accurate. And it didn't dim much over that time. There was a very gradual dimming over the hour 48, and then finally suddenly just falls off a cliff in the last couple of seconds and turns itself off. And I actually put the light in a cupboard, dark cupboard, so the only source of light was the light, with a camcorder pointing at it, and then I looked at the resulting footage afterwards, and obviously on the waveform monitor you've got this line of reflected light, and over time it just gently came down a tiny bit, and then at the end it just switches itself off. So actually pretty good consistency for the duration of the light over the full 1 hour 48, so not bad at all. I think the only thing I don't like about this light, or have a slight unease about, is that because the battery is an internal rechargeable, and there is no way, it seems, of taking it out. These little things on the corner here are not screws. It's presumably it's entirely unreplaceable. So ultimately the battery will stop taking a charge, because rechargeables, as you know, only have so many cycles. So eventually you're going to have to chuck the whole thing out. And as a bit of a vaguely environmentally conscientious sort of person, that really, you know, I'm not comfortable with that. I would much rather be able to take the back off like a mobile phone and just swap a new lithium battery in. And yes, you've still got to dispose of the old battery, but at least you're not chucking the whole light out. And that is, I suppose, ultimately what will have to happen to this. But what can I say? It's pretty bright for its size, lasts a reasonable amount of time for its size, very lightweight, seems fairly tough. I mean, it's plastic construction, but in part because there are no sticky out bits, there's nothing really to snap off or fall apart. If anything, the flimsiest part is probably the little cold shoe adapter, but you know, you're not exactly going to be bending and breaking that, are you? So I think it'll take a certain amount of knocks. I wouldn't want to go throwing it around or dropping it from a great height, but you wouldn't do that with any bit of camera kit. Yeah, I think that's fairly substantial. I'll show you an example of it in use as a sort of key/fill light. I live and work on a narrowboat, and I do vlogs about my time aboard, and there are windows along the side of the boat. This is where I'm filming this now, and quite often, unless you stand in exactly the right place, the scene around you can be bright, but your face can be quite dark. So yeah, you can see me, but I'm not particularly standing out from the background. But you put this little light on and suddenly my face is properly illuminated, and that's why I think actually this is a really nice little vlogger's light. It's bright enough, it's compact enough, very good. I'm building up quite the portable camera setup now. I've got this little bag here, and in now I can carry my little AX53 camcorder, the Rode Video Micro for sound, and now this in its little pouch for a top light. And it's almost an entire TV studio in a bag. You remember that scene in Back to the Future where Doc Brown looks at the old JVC and says, "It's a TV studio in a box." It's very much getting that way, I think. So anything else to add on the Aputure? Oh, just a couple of very quick things. It also comes with a blue filter, although the light is actually fairly daylight balanced anyway, so I'm not really sure why they put that one in, and an orange filter if you want to match it up to tungsten. You do lose a fair bit of the light output, as always, when you put a filter in front of these things, but they have included them. I mean, they're a bit flimsy, and you just slap them on between the diffuser and the light, and it just sort of holds them in place like that. But, well, they're included, so it's nice to have. Best of all is the price, because it's retailing at the moment, at the time of filming this, on Amazon for £39. And yes, it's a tiny little light, but I think that's actually pretty good. 39 quid, these are practically disposable. I mean, ultimately they are disposable, but you could easily have a couple of these in your kit bag, and I think they would make a worthwhile addition. So overall, very pleased with this. Yeah, very good. It's if I switch it on, it's probably going to affect the camera, is it? In fact, yeah, isn't it? Because it's got auto exposure. But there you go. It's quite bright. There's me lit by the light. There's me without the light. There's me lit by the light. I mean, it's not a key light really, but for that sort of vlogging thing, or as a fill, definitely just gives you that edge, doesn't it? Gives you that little pickup. And I think as a hair light as well, you could probably get away with that, couldn't you? Yeah, there we go, a little bit of hair light. Yeah, that works. So all around, I've just blinded myself, pretty useful. Oh, one final thing, forgot to mention, there's a tiny little status light here which shows you when it's charging or charged, anything like that. All in all, a good product, I think. I hope this was useful. Thank you for watching. Any questions, pop them down below and I will do my best to answer. Cheers now. Bye-bye.